Hello, this is the second part of the video on fractions. In this video, we will see the fraction concept, improper, proper, and mixed fraction concept on a number line. So this is a fraction. It looks like a improper fraction because numerator is greater than the denominator. And once we have an improper fraction, we can always change it to a mixed fraction. Mixed fraction has two parts, whole parts and fractional part. Now let's see how 9 over 8 will look like on a number line. As we know from the previous video, the first video on fraction, denominator always tells me the number of divisions or parts or sections. Let's see. This part from 0 to 1 should have 8 divisions. This is first, and I'm counting my second. I am saying second, not 2. I will say third, not 3. These two have different meanings. I'll explain you later. Let's see the second part. From this point up to here is the second part. From this point up to here is the third point. This is my fourth. This is fifth. This is sixth up to here. This is seventh. And this is 8. When you see 8 over 8, you get 1. And this is what we are getting here 1. When I say 3, I mean start your counting from 0 and go up to third place. Third place. Now I'm saying third. But what 3 represents? What 2 or 7 represents? Let's see. When I start my counting from the starting point, beginning 0, and count 3 parts, one part, second part, and third part. When I include all the parts, how many parts I included? 3 parts. When I say 3, it means include every part. 3 means include the parts came before from 0. This is what 3 means. But when I'll say third part, third means just show me where third is. So where is third? Where can third be? If this is first part, this is second, this is third. This third line, correct? This is where our green dot is. This third, this third line, now dot is on fourth. Now this third line, this vertical line is third. It is called as third. Now I'll call it a third. Okay. Now this line represents what? Let's see. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. This is my seventh line. Seventh. This is why I have 7. But this 7 and this is seventh are different. How different? Well, 7 over 8 is a fraction, and fraction always tells me the cake slices. Well, 7 means what? There are 7 slices, right? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let me keep this much space for my eighth slice, although it doesn't look all equal slices, but you get the idea. When I say 7, it means all these slices, correct? All slices. And where all these slices are kept? On a board, plate. So basically, all 7 slices have covered my plate. It's covering everything, it's covering the area. This is what happens on the number line also. When I say 7 over 8, it means cover everything up to 8. So if this I extend like this, and if I extend this seventh line also, 7 by 7 by 8 or 7 over 8 will represent this area inside. This is 7 by 8. This area inside is 7 over 8. I hope you get the clarity. When I say 8 over 8, which gives me 1, so 1 does not mean this line is 1. This tells me how much distance this number has covered. So 1 tells me it has covered total 1 distance. So this one has covered total this much. So it probably, imagine there is a person, he or she started walking from this point and reached up to here. They walked, correct? Step over step over step. They did not jump, right? If they jump, we will tell them, we will say like this person is now on the first position. If this person jumps again, how many jumps? He or she took only one more jump, one more. Doesn't matter how many steps were there in between, but this person actually jumped. And jump tells me only one thing, that this person came directly from this point to this, which means he or she reached at second position. This is why we say second, not two. Okay, if we'll say two, which will prove that this person walked step by step to reach at 2. Now let's change some numbers in the simulation. Now it's 7. Denominator tells me partitions. Well, there should be 7 parts. This is first part, this is second part, this is third, this is fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. That's true. And 8 tells me, well, there should be 8 slices of cake visible on the screen. So in this case, I have a dot on the screen. So this dot has to be on the 8th position. Is this 8th? Let's count. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. That's correct. This is my 8th position. Where is my dot? The location of the dot is given by the numerator. So numerator can be more than 7, which is true. This is what this dot tells me. So our numerator can be more than the denominator. And when this happens, this becomes improper fraction. And we know when this happens, we can change it to mixed fraction. Let's see what is 8 over 7 mean in mixed fraction. Mixed fraction, as we know from the previous video, has two parts, whole part and fractional part. Whole, 8 over 7. How many whole parts do we see on the screen? Well, I see two parts, whole parts. Correct? This is one part. This is my second part. So there are total two whole parts. But where is my dot? And how many whole parts this did this dot cover? It started from this point and reached here on 8th position by covering one whole part. This dot covered one whole part and now it is at 8th position. Now this vertical line represents what fraction? Well, it tells me a location because I just keep drawing over this vertical lines, which proves I am interested to know the location of this line. Or let's say, to keep the things concept simple, let's say how much is this area? Okay, what number or what fraction this area will represent? So this area is given by 1. This vertical line is first position out of how many? 7. And how many distances or how many whole parts this dot covered earlier? 1. One whole part covered, and this is also covering one part out of 7 also. This is why its location is one section or one part ahead of 1. So it is covering 1 over 7 also up to this line. We will add these two. Let's do the cross multiplication. Right hand side is the point where we will start from. 7 multiply 1. What's in the denominator of the other fraction will be multiplied with the numerator of the first number. 7 multiplied by 1. Let me write it properly and clearly here. Now when I say cross multiply, well, this whole part doesn't have any denominator. We can always assume a 1. Since this is an imaginary number, I am assuming something. I have written it like this, but you don't have to. Now this dotted 1 represents a denominator for a number at top because there was no denominator, and we are discussing the cross multiplication concept. To make it more clear, I have added an imaginary 1. Well, 1 in the denominator doesn't change my original number, so 1 is fine. Let's do cross multiplication. This is how we will do. We will go. Now what these arrows represent? Well, it tells me, it guides me what to do. First, I need to multiply this number with this number. So let's do this. Done. What's the operation we are doing? Well, it's the addition. Why? Because we need to know this distance covered by this dot from 0 to this vertical line, first vertical line. This is why we are adding, right? Now this multiplication. We will add this into 1 multiply by 1. This arrow tells me multiply these two. 1 multiply by 7. Let's simplify this. 7 multiplied by 1 is 7 plus this plus 1 multiplied by 1 is 1. 1 multiplied by 7 is 7. This is 8 over 7, and we are getting the same answer. So when we write improper fraction like this 1 1 by 7, it means the same thing, which is which we just proved, right, by doing some cross multiplication. But it's important for you to understand what this mean, right? This has a whole part and this has a fraction.